Welcome everybody to Destination WTF Podcast, episode 0, episode -1. I am your host, Josh, here with my sister, Angie.
Hey, what's up, you guys?
And we're just here to talk to you today about this new podcast that we're putting together. You know, who we are, why we are into the paranormal, and just a little bit of background about us and the types of things we're going to be talking about in our upcoming episodes. So, Angie.
Yes.
How you doing today?
I'm alright. Not actually. I'm having a bad day.
She's having a bad day.
I'm having a bad day. I'm going to be honest.
We live in a haunted house. We live in a haunted duplex. She's on one side and I'm on the other side. And, she and Jeff live on the one side.
We're renting from family.
Yes! There you go.
We're renting from family because we're frugal, okay? There's no shame in our game.
You're frugal.
Not really.
What's fruit? Can I Google frugal?
Frugal means you're good with your money.
Oh, there you go. Yeah.
But not really, because I just spent like over $100 on Tarte cosmetics last night. So we're not going to talk about that, though.
Another day, another podcast. So, we're obviously into the paranormal. There are a lot of things that's happened in the past that's kind of sparked an interest in the paranormal for the both of us. For me, I've lived in multiple states. I've lived in Georgia, Kentucky, Indiana, Michigan, Ohio. We're currently in Ohio. And pretty much every single place I've ever lived, I've had weird shit happen to me. And not only just to me, but to the people that are around me. Like my neighbors had things happen to them, and there's so many people out there.
Sorry, I just had a thought. Descendants of Nosferatu.
I don't think.
What is Nosferatu?
Nosferatu was the vampire. We are not descendants of Nosferatu or Count Dracula or
Hey,
the evil...
Have you done Ancestry.com?
Okay, I've never done Ancestry.com.
I'm not sending my DNA to 23andMe.
But I guarantee you, if you did, it's not going to come back that we are the descendants of some evil overlord, okay?
No, actually, Julie, our cousin Julie, did that.
Yeah.
She did the whole, DNA test and found out that we are descendants of a royal bloodline in England.
Oh my God.
From Grandma's side, for real.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Like...
And she asked Grandma about
Daenerys Targaryen?
I don't know. It could have been the Targaryens, but
it's not because I get burned. I burned my hand on a tray of tater tots the other day when I was making them, so I'm totally not Targaryen.
No, we burn too easily in the sun.
Yeah, my fair skin burns.
But Grandma was like, Julie asked Grandma about it, and Grandma goes, "Oh, that? I didn't think that was interesting enough to mention when you guys were younger."
That's because when she was a little kid, they spent all her freaking royal money. Thanks, Grandma. All right, anyway. What the hell were we talking? Good job, Angie.
Nosferatu.
I am not a descendant of Nosferatu. I do have jacked out teeth, though. I got the teeth of Nosferatu.
I think we need to cut and start another one.
No, I think this is good. We're going to go ahead and just roll with it. And there's been a lot of weird shit that's happened. Like, I remember one time when we were little, and there was this house off this little side street where we used to live. And
oh, no.
Oh, yeah. Oh,
Don't
yeah.
tell that story.
Yeah, why not? It's funny. So there was this side street, and the story was in our town that a witch lived there, devil worshippers lived there. The house actually burned down and killed some people in there. At least that's the story that I heard. So Angie...
I didn't even know that.
Yeah.
I remember...
Well, you were just goofy and little.
I remember people saying that there was, weird...
Yeah, witchcraft
things.
going on in
I
there.
didn't know that.
Yeah.
Alright, so when I went down there to, creep in the windows of this house...
Tell them what you saw.
I seriously had no intention of I don't know what I was doing. I was being like a little mini investigator, I guess. But
you're being a private eye? Tell them what you saw.
So I looked through I swear, wasn't it the keyhole or something? There was a hole in the door.
Yeah, there was a hole.
There was a hole in the front door. And I looked through it, and okay, now that I'm older, I know imagination aside, I probably saw somebody's real eye looking back at me. But the story that I told everyone was that I looked through and I saw a couple giant eyeballs with legs dancing around. And and where did I get that from, Josh?
I don't know if you've ever seen Hall & Oates, if you're old like us, but look up, pause this video, okay, or pause this podcast. I keep forgetting this is a podcast now, dumbass. Pause this podcast and go to YouTube and look up Hall & Oates private eye video. And there's this giant dancing eyeball, and I swear I used to pick on Angie all the time because there's a giant dancing eyeball holding a spyglass in that video, and I think that somehow Angie got like psychologically jacked up first from the haunted stories of this house, and then Hall & Oates like haunted her dreams. And I used to sing that song and stuff and pick on it.
Yeah, he used to be like, private eyes are watching you. They see your every move. That used to scare me so bad every time he would like sing that. But
now you're older and you think
now
maybe it
I'm
could have been
older.
somebody looking back at you.
I have a degree in psychology, and I know that was literally somebody's real eye looking back at me through a hole in the door. And imagine me like, what was I, like 4? No, probably like 5 or 6.
I think you were like 8.
Oh, 8. Well,
I don't know. You used to run off over in the big yard.
Yeah.
When we'd be playing, because Mom would be like, Josh, watch your sister. And of course I'd be like, not watching my sister, and she'd wander off.
But it literally was only like 3 houses down.
Yeah.
4 houses down from where we lived. But that creeps the hell out of me now that I think about it when I'm older. Even being just a little 8-year-old and creeping up on somebody's porch, looking like peeking in their windows and then looking through the hole in the door and seeing an eyeball looking back at you is not. Who knows? They could have opened their door and grabbed me or whatever, But
yeah,
it definitely was an eye looking back at me.
It may not have been somebody living, because like I seriously, you never heard that? You never heard the story about that?
I didn't know that.
Yeah, they were saying because there was a. You remember the crazy lady that lived next to the house?
Yeah.
And she was always like screaming at us,
yelling at us to get out. Like, if you would step 1 foot in the yard, and she'd be like, "Get out of here!" Wouldn't she say it was like not safe to be like in that area?
Yeah, she told me if I didn't leave, she was gonna skin me alive.
Ew. That's messed up.
Yeah. Well, and then because we used to go over there. I mean, I was mischievous, young tween at that time too, and I'm running around, and I used to go over there with my friends, and we'd like, oh, I dare you to go up and knock on the door, and whatever. Of course, I had some crazy friends that were like, trying, let's get a Ouija board and stuff, and I never did that because I was a little kid, and I was like, hell no, that's But I remember we used to go up.
Yeah, because we were always taught you don't mess with that shit.
Yeah, but you remember there was a kid that I was friends with, and he was one of the ones. You remember he got hit. That kid that got hit by the car. Do you even remember that?
Mm-mm.
Mom probably remember. I had a friend that got hit by a car up there, and we had just got done playing over there. So I don't know.
That's weird.
Yeah. So I don't know. It could be all just coincidence.
I do remember that lady though. She would always tell me, "You have to get out of this yard. You can't be here." And I'd be over there because she had like pine trees. So I'd always go over there and like try to take the pine cones and stuff.
She's probably cooking meth or something.
Yeah, who knows?
But anyway, yeah, and I had a house up in Michigan that was a duplex, and at this point in time, 19, 20, I'm about 20, 21 years old when I moved up there, and and I lived in this duplex with this older woman who was probably in her 70s, and she used to claim that house that we lived in, this duplex, was haunted because I'd come home from work and she'd be standing at the door totally frantic, clutching a Bible, telling me that she's glad that I'm home. Can I come in the house and help her get rid of these demons that's in her house, these spirits that are driving her up the wall? She said her bed was floating one day.
That's messed up.
I mean, I don't know. The lady could have been crazy, but everybody that was ever in that house, anybody I ever had over, always said it creeped them out. And I mean, I went through a divorce at that point in time, So I had other things on my mind other than worrying about a knock or a creak or something. So I didn't really recognize it as much, except for the closet doors that were constantly opening up by themselves every night. That's hard to ignore.
Yeah, but even before the divorce, like when me and Mom would come visit you guys, like we would be sleeping in the living room on an air mattress, and I would refuse to turn the TV off because I knew something was watching me sleep.
Mm-hmm.
And I wouldn't let Mom turn the TV off. I kept the TV on all night long on like cartoons or Disney Channel or something because it scared the crap out of me so bad. And then even this was like before the divorce when we were visiting. You and Mom and your ex they went down to the Meyer store.
Mm-hmm.
I stayed with back at the house, and I had my dog there too. So something was running up and down the stairs, up and down, and it was plain as day, somebody running up and down the steps, and I knew exactly that it was whoever was there that was haunting that house, and they were wanting their presence to be known. But I had already had like feelings about being there, even before like Josh would mention the lady next door saying weird shit.
Yeah.
But I yelled out, oh, and my dog was like growling too because she obviously heard it, and I yelled out, okay, stop running up and down the stairs, I know you're here and I really don't care. And it stopped.
Well, and you gotta, I say the lady that lived next door in the duplex, she only had a downstairs, she didn't have an upstairs. So what Angie's talking about is the steps kind of go up, and then they like turn left, and right underneath the steps is where the shower area and the bathroom was. So when you hear, because I had the same thing, I heard the same thing, you'd hear walking up or banging, and it's like right above your head. I mean, literally right above your head, because that's where the steps were. There was the one little room that was upstairs there that had a little cubby, and my daughter at that point in time, she was just a little baby, and I did this room up all super cute, had like baby Looney Tunes stickers, decals all over the walls, and like painted it like a baby blue color, and had like pink wallpaper trim, super cute little baby room. And it was decked out in all these nice, little baby accessories like the crib and the rocker, automatic rocker, and all this stuff. And there was this little cubby that was inside that room that stood maybe, I don't know, maybe 2.5 feet tall. Yeah. Just a small, like, you could barely squeeze in there. That thing would sit there and rattle, like boom, 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 boom. And it would constantly do it. And I remember talking to the landlord, and she's like, "Oh, well, that just happens because there's wind that gets in there from the outside." And I'm like, "Oh, well, okay, that's a problem too with the structure of the house. If we're getting that much wind coming in, what's my electric bill gonna look like?"
Right. Plus, your baby is in there.
Yeah, yeah, that too. I'm such a bad dad. I'm more worried about the electric bill than my baby getting cold in the winter.
Getting sick from the wind.
So I'm like, you know what? I don't believe that bull crap. I said I've never felt a breeze or anything, and the bills weren't that high, and the windows were fairly new. I mean, they weren't too old. Rooms stayed warm, in the winter in Michigan. So I mean, we get some really cold winters. But I opened up that little cubby and I climbed in there the one time, and it was just an old like storage. There was like some paneling and different, like some rolled up wallpaper and just crap like that shoved back in there. A bunch of spider webs and, just your stereotypical creepy cubby in an old house. But I didn't feel any breeze. I didn't see any light. I didn't see anything that would have indicated that it was exposed to any type of, nature or weather. I didn't see like rat poop or anything like that, so it wasn't an animal. I mean, I looked for all this, and so I shut it up, and I ran down to the store and I bought some chimes, and I put a nail in there and I hung them just inside the door, and closed the door up, and it latched. And the next time it happened. I heard it bang, 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 bang. I went up there, and the chimes were not moving. So I quickly opened up the door because I wanted to see, exactly what it was. If the chimes were swinging, they were not moving at all. So I shut that door again. And instantly, within like maybe 2 or 3 seconds, boom, 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 the door starts rattling again. So I don't know. I can't explain that.
Poltergeist.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. It's just something that's just messing with me. You know what I mean? But my baby, she would, Taylor would not go in there. She would
scream.
She would scream bloody murder
yeah.
if you put her in there, and she did not like it at all.
Mm-mm.
Even if she was asleep, she'd stay asleep, and like 10 minutes later, she'd wake up screaming. But she wouldn't do that anywhere else in the house. We could leave her in my room or downstairs or anywhere, and then leave the area with her by herself, and she was fine. We put her in that room, and she would do it.
Mm-hmm.
And then I'd have other people come over. Like after the divorce, I was dating this girl, and her friend, she was all into goth, and I was teasing her. I called her Uncle Fester and stuff. I was teasing her. If you're gothic, I'm totally sorry. Like, I'm not like picking on you. It's just she looked like Uncle Fester. That's the point. But she totally looked like she was part of the Abbs family. Anyway, she come in the house for the first time, and she like walked in, and she's like looking around my house, and she's like, "I'm sorry, I can't be here." And I'm like, "Okay, that's well, what did I do?" I'm getting all insecure, like, "Oh, okay, does it smell? Did I not clean my my toilet good enough? What is this?" And she's like, I feel so much pressure in this house, and she's like, I don't know. She goes, I feel like there's something bad here. And I'm just like, okay, whatever, like I kind of knew what she was getting at, and because I've experienced the stuff with the little door, but until she said, "What's upstairs?" Something's upstairs, and she went upstairs, and then she come back down. I didn't go up with her. She walked up the steps, and she comes like right back down, like 30 seconds later. She's just marching down the steps, man. She goes right out the door. She's like, I'm not staying in there. There's something in there. And from then on out, I just kind of, I'm like, well, maybe it's not my imagination. Maybe it's not the weather. Maybe it's it's not something natural. Maybe it really is something. There's some negative entity. Maybe it was spawned, or summoned or something with me being upset. I did a lot of drinking and stuff like that when I'm going through that divorce. Maybe I don't know.
No, because something was there before that even happened.
Well,
like you guys were still together and something was there.
Well, then maybe it played a role in it. Maybe it enhanced us being upset and fighting and stuff.
Yeah, I think it could probably have influenced your guys' moods.
It's possible. Like, because my ex would see, like, one time I went to work and I was working at, like, 3 a.m. till 3 p.m., some wacky shift like that, at this factory. And I remember one time she called me and she's like, I thought that was you. You need to come home. Somebody's in the house. I'm like, what? I'm like, did you call 911? She's like, no. She goes, I don't know how to explain it. This was before all the stuff that I just told you about. She's like, there's somebody in the house, but they're not here. I think it's like a ghost. And I'm like, what are you smoking? But I went ahead and I went home, and, because she was freaking out. And, she told me that there was somebody, like, she was laying in bed and the door was open just enough where she could see through the crack on the back side of the door where the hinges are. And she said that it looked just like me in my work uniform. We had to wear these white pants and white button-up shirt. And she said she saw a white suit walking through, and she said, what are you doing home? I thought you left. Maybe, I've been laying here asleep. And then she said when it passed by that crack in the door, it never came in. So and when nobody responded, she said she sat in the bed just like terrified that somebody was standing there in that door that was like cracked, like a horror movie, just waiting for her to come over there and open up the door. I don't know, just a lot of weird shit that happened there. And I mean, what was it, Angie, that you were saying when I was little, I said I saw the devil in my door.
Yeah, I remember. I don't know how old. You were a teenager. You were like 13 or 14. And I was only, like 12 or something like that. And I remember Mom telling me that we needed to pray for you because you woke up. You woke Mom and Dad up in the middle of the night one night. And Josh used to like sleepwalk really bad when he was younger. He would like go to bed and then like I'd still be up like watching a movie or something with Mom and Dad, and Josh would come walking down the steps, but he was asleep, and we'd be like, "What are you doing, Josh?" And he's like, say something random
I gotta go poop.
He would say something random that he was doing, and we'd be like, "Josh, you're asleep. You need to go back to bed." So yeah, he would just like go back up the stairs, go to bed, and he would never remember any of it, because he was asleep.
I don't remember any of it.
This one time, Josh woke my mom and dad up and said that he saw the devil standing in the doorway of his bedroom. And I still, it's like giving me the chills even right now thinking about it, because I remember my mom telling me like the next day, she's like, we need to pray for your brother. I don't know what he's getting into right now, but he told me that he saw the devil in his doorway and that he was just standing there all like, looking at him like, and Josh described it as like the devil wanted him. So that's, even to this day, that really chills me to the bone, because I can't imagine, first of all, seeing a demon or the devil, I mean, it could have been a demon looking at him, but who knows? Like, he described it as the devil wanted him and he was standing in his doorway.
See, I don't remember that at all.
That's weird that you don't remember, because I bet if we mention it to Mom, she'd be like, "Oh yeah, I remember that." But yeah, Mom was like, "We gotta start praying for your brother. I don't know what he's into, but it's not good."
I wasn't into anything. Mom, I'd be out and we'd run, play football and stuff, and I'd come back all like sweaty and beat up from playing football. Mom's like, "You're fighting. You've been fighting." I'm like, "No, Mom, I'm playing football." But I wasn't into anything.
You were starting to get mean.
Yeah.
You were mean to me.
I'm sorry.
You were an asshole.
I still am.
Oh, wow.
Wow, this is Destination Truth.
I know, but seriously.
Starring Josh Gates. Well,
something was after you.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. Something could have been around. I don't remember. So, but if you guys say it happened, I believe you that it happened.
I just never liked going in the basement in that house. We used to have a shower in the basement down there, because the upstairs bathroom only had a bathtub, remember?
Mm-hmm.
So we would all go down to the basement to take showers. And that basement, like, I would just hurry up and take my shower and, like, run back upstairs because it scared the crap out of me. And then there was, like, that little pantry area that Mom and Dad always kept, like, locked. And I always thought to myself, there's something not right about that room. Like, I always imagined that there would be, like, bodies, like, buried under the concrete in there. I don't know, from like the previous owners or something. I just always remember Dad going, "Never go in there."
That's because like, that's where I went in there, and that's where Dad kept his alcohol. So.
Okay, well that makes sense.
And then he's like, I snuck it out one time when I was a teenager, and he's like, "You went in there?" I said, "Yeah." I said, "This is my bottle of 151," and he's like, "Josh," I said, "I'm gonna tell Mom that it's not." "You wouldn't." I said, "Yes, I would." Well, you're right. I was bad. I was bad. I bribed Dad. I said, "I get in trouble. You're getting in trouble."
I have nothing
I
to
blame
say
the
to
demon.
that.
I blame the demon in the doorway.
The demon in the doorway.
The demon had a taste for 151 Bacardi. So, why do you think? I seem to think that spirits are more active nowadays, and like there's more and more of it, more and more activity, more and more light shined on it because of technology. You know, more people investigating. I mean,
I don't think there's more people that believe in it. I think you hit the nail on the head with technology. Technology has become so advanced. I mean, look what Steve Huff is doing. He keeps coming out with a new box like every 6 months that is getting clearer and clearer with the messages that, I mean, I can't just come on here and say that I believe everything 100% because he could be faking some of that evidence. Like, he could have something pre-built in there, but it just seems to me like the more and more advanced that technology gets, the easier and easier it is to communicate. And like the stuff that we have now, like there's no need for anybody to even use a Ouija board. Like, Ouija boards can totally be faked. You know what I mean?
yeah.
Especially when well,
Well,
from
why
what
would
I've
you
seen,
use
it
it when you
requires
got?
2 people. But
Yeah, and plus, I mean, like, it's a whole lot of work and takes a whole lot of energy.
yeah.
For a spirit to even communicate that way, why would you even bother?
But when they
You can get a clear voice.
Yeah, when they can just, use a little bit of energy and imprint their voice onto, say, a digital recorder, just a plain Jane digital recorder, like, technology's so advanced that I think it's easier for them to, come through to us these days.
Well, no, but like I mentioned before, though, I mean, what I'm getting at is, like, everybody in this world, I mean, all you have to do is turn on the news, and everybody's just, like, everybody's gone crazy, man. Everybody is, like, living by emotions. And it makes me wonder if paranormal activity is ramping up because of people's emotions, because people like totally live by emotions nowadays. Don't even worry about the brain. My heart tells me this and I'm going this route, and they just, like, everybody is so freaking emotional that I don't know if it's playing off of the spiritual or supernatural activity, or if it's vice versa. And maybe everybody's emotions is sparking more activity across the world. That's what I was
thinking. I mean, look at the amount of people. Just go on YouTube and type in anxiety. You can have numerous videos that come up about anxiety attacks. Every single person claims that they have an anxiety disorder these days. I swear. It just, like, half the people on the internet that I've talked to, they have an anxiety disorder. Well, is all of this anxiety ramping up activity in the world? I mean, you're talking about emotions and stuff. I think that it's very possible that all of these, swirling emotions and all of this energy and everybody with all this, like, negative energy is ramping up activity. That's I think is very possible. And then also the anxiety, the fear of the unknown, the fear of the future. There's so many people that are, like, afraid of, what's going on right now, and they're afraid that it's leading countries down, bad roads, and, like, we're not going to exist pretty soon.
Well, there's definitely a high level of fear.
Yeah, and I honestly think that fear can drive the paranormal activity. They can feed off of it. That's what I think.
Well, we've personally experienced the way spirits can kind of manipulate your thoughts, because I almost, it's hard to explain, but we've picked it up on the spirit box where if we think something, it'll answer, and then we ask the question at the exact same time it's answering an intelligent response, or it says the exact same word, or you'll have 5 voices or something say the exact same word, all in different tone, like a girl, like a young girl, an older woman, a young man, a little boy, and like an old man, all at once, like say the same word that you say, or say it right before or right after. And it's like, what are they doing? So if there's this much emotion going on in the world, and you have the capability of some other force, whatever it may be, to get into your head and to make you think thoughts, or to feed off your thoughts. The fact that everybody is so just absolutely insane in this world these days with their emotions, it's just, I don't know, it makes me think that, you know, we have to tone it down a little bit because if there is some sort of correlation with spiritual activity or paranormal activity, that it could totally get out of hand. And you see that there are I know on YouTube and Instagram, I mean, we have a few friends that are exorcists, and they say that the absolute level of negative spiritual activity is reached a point to where it's almost out of control at this point in time.
Yeah. Well, look up the experiment where they talked negatively to a plant every day for, you know, however long that they did the experiment. You know, told it was worthless, you know, it was ugly, all this horrible things. They talked negative to the plant, and then they have another plant that they talked positive to. They told it was beautiful, that, you know, it was going to grow and be healthy, and just all of this positivity that they fed into this plant. And the plant that was fed all of this negative, I mean, they were just talking to it.
It grew mold and stuff,
right? It died. Yeah, it died. Yeah. It literally rotted. But the plant that was talked so positively to grew and was very healthy. So if you can't tell me that, you know, that negative thoughts or positive thoughts and what you think and what you speak into, you know, the world, you can't tell me that it doesn't influence something in a positive or a negative way, because it absolutely does.
Yeah, they did it with food too, and I can't remember. You'd have to look it up on YouTube. Positive, negative emotions affecting growth or something like that. I just kind of do your own little investigation on it. It's really cool. I mean, it's really cool, but it's really interesting.
Yeah, I actually want to do that experiment myself.
Yeah, we gotta look up the grounds for it and see it, and we test it.
Yeah, I think that would be something cool to do.
But music is another thing. Like we tested music, and you can see some videos on our Instagram, Destination WTF Instagram, where we tested some music. Like nobody really tested music before, at least that I'm aware of, when it comes to a paranormal investigation. And when we played certain songs, they actually got a sense of humor about it. Like the one time I played Creedence Clearwater, Dude Looking Out My Back Door, and I swear I think that song's totally about the guy getting high and smoking weed, coming back from Illinois, Chicago, and getting some weed, and you know, he's seeing all this funky stuff dancing around in his yard. Well, they got a kick out of this, man. They were like, oh, I love this song, you know.
They were singing it.
He's like, play that tune, Creedence. Oh, I know that country song. And I started dancing, and then they were like, ho, 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 you know, like having a good time. And then I played Knocking on Heaven's Door by Guns N' Roses. And right when the music started playing, the intro, you heard one of them go, oh, ha, ha, ha.
Yeah.
Like, oh, very funny.
Yeah, I think they got mad too. Oh, remember when you played Highway to Hell? They got mad.
Okay, yeah. So I clicked over and I said, I just looked at Angie and I turned on AC/DC's Highway to Hell. And the part where the music kind of builds up and gets to the very first part where they say the lyrics Highway to Hell, the spirit box started going, yeah, like flipping out,
it was
and then
mad.
Banging, and it infuriated it. And then afterwards, we played something, I don't know, George Strait Country or something, and it started like calming down. And then I played some old love song about losing your girlfriend. I think it was like Milli Vanilli. We were joking around and playing, and then it sounded like a woman crying, going, why are you gone? Or, you know, like crying.
And then you played some gangster rap, and it got mad again.
Yeah, DMX triggered them. So So the point is that even music, like, it doesn't even have to be you. It's like what you're thinking and what you're surrounding yourself with. That whole positive or negative vibe seems to affect the paranormal. And this is a whole nother podcast all in itself.
Yeah.
But just from a high level view or a high level overview, I mean, that's a huge thing. And if the world is getting to the point to where it's fueled solely by emotion, just imagine how that emotion is affecting the spiritual world. That can be huge. So there is a lot out there, a lot of evidence, a lot of small, like, kind of underground paranormal, not their own television shows. These groups that are out there doing it, and you might be one of them. And keep doing what you're doing, because I mean, I got this weird feeling that it's gonna get a whole hell of a lot crazier. I mean, like I said before, I don't think that we are sensitives or like any type of, weird bloodline to where we have like this tie to something that is spiritual. I don't think we're special in any way, no more so than any of you. We're all special. And we're all special, period. We're here, we're living, we're thinking, we're talking, we're special. But I don't think that we have anything, linked to the paranormal any more than you do. But everywhere we go, we seem to make connections. And the more people that are out there trying to make these connections, it's opening more doors to things, both good and bad. So that's a scary thought in itself as well.
Well, like I said before, I think the veil is getting thinner and thinner between our world and theirs. Not to make it sound like, they're not part of our world or whatever, but just...
Well, we don't know.
I mean, my personal opinion, like, they're here on Earth, we just can't see them, Like, I've always believed that there are things that, higher power keeps us from seeing, good and bad, because I'm only a human. Like, my brain can't comprehend, how amazing that is, that there's this other realm or whatever. As weird as that sounds.
Well,
but.
I mean, and I'm not... The most craziest thing that you could do is listen to a podcast or listen to some YouTube video of some physicist try to explain multiple universes.
Yeah.
It's like, dude, nobody knows what the fuck they're talking about, number one. Okay? Nobody knows. Because none of it's all theory. There's string theory, there's multiple, it's all theory. And I'm not even going to pretend to even know what the hell any of that is. I mean, I can use my imagination from, like, a science fiction standpoint and
Stranger Things and
kind of get
the upside down.
I know what mainstream's told me to think of it, but nobody really knows what it all truly is, or what the extent of it is, or how huge it's going to be when somebody can prove, or if they do prove it to be real. I mean, it's so hard to even think. It's mind blowing to even think about it. But so I mean, we talked about a million different random things today, and this is going to be one awesome editing session where I go in here and try and splice all this together.
Have fun with that.
But we're gonna have a whole lot of podcasts coming, and as you guys, I mean, if you've lasted this long, I mean, like I said before, God bless you and God have mercy on your soul, because you are stronger than I am. But no, all jokes aside, we're gonna have a whole lot of podcasts. We got a whole lot to talk about. Moving forward, we're gonna focus on one or two subjects and talk solely about those subjects. And if you are like me in any way to where you love paranormal, supernatural, extraterrestrial, anything crazy like that, or even horror movies, sci-fi movies, we're going to talk about all kinds of stuff. And I'm going to do some solo podcasts and talk about a few things, and we'll get Jeff in here, and we'll talk about some of the Destination WTF investigations, and when we do investigations, we'll kind of do a overview and talk about that as well. But hopefully you guys stick with us and enjoy what you hear. And if you're at work right now, I feel so bad for you.
You're probably sleeping.
You're probably, just wake up. Wake up.
Time to get back to work.
Hurry up before your boss comes by and sees you snoring. Follow us on Instagram at Destination WTF and check us out on YouTube. If you want to stick with Instagram, that's cool because that's where we put a majority of our content.
Please come support us. We're working Americans. We have real jobs, and we do this in our spare time because we love it and because we find it interesting.
And we love you.
We love you. God bless the freaks and geeks, and keep doing what you're doing, guys. We love seeing everybody else's content, too.
Yeah, we want to hear from you, too. So if you got stories that are just absolutely insane that you want to get out there and talk about, let us know, man. We'll set up a way for you to maybe record your story and we'll put it on our podcast, or maybe we'll hook up and do a live podcast with you.
Skype session.
Yeah. All right, guys. Well, have a great one, and until next time.